Hey everybody, back here with Rich Norton, who's sitting in his car as usual, out in the field, selling merchant services, but taking a little bit of a break in the action to share some insights with us today. How you doing today, Rich?
Doing excellent. And that's what we always believe in doing, leading by example. One thing I can say about our team is that we don't have people sitting behind the desk saying, back in my day, we're out in the field. So everything we're talking about is exactly what we're doing. And that, to me, that's even though I have couple hundred representatives that we supervise around the country. My favorite part and the most challenging part, because I'm very competitive, is getting out in the field visiting merchants. So I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah, and I think I doubt anything has changed, Rich. Last time that I checked with kind of the Payrock leaderboard, I believe you were kind of the top representative at Payrock
Yes.
for the sales that you individually make, in addition
Yes.
to you're managing this enormous team of salespeople. Is that still correct?
That is correct, and I remain humble. I know where my blessings come from, but I am still number one. So
I
that's my
love it. I
competitive
love it.
nature. Yes,
That's
yes,
great. Well, Rich, the question I have for you today is a little more complex than what we normally cover because we're kind of covering more of the sales aspect. But I think what's happening is, and you alluded to this a few weeks ago, I think a lot of new representatives get into the industry and they're presented with, hey, there's dual pricing, there's this one terminal, and that's kind of it. But of course, there are these other pricing structures. We talk about, compliant surcharging, which I think Payrock calls reward pay, I believe. There's, dual pricing, consumer choice. There's also interchange plus, there's tiered pricing, flat rate. So talk a little bit about pricing structures. How do you approach this? How do you pick the right one for the merchant? And maybe give a little context of like as you're making sales, what percentage are going kind of these different directions.
yeah. And that's going back to one of the videos we did prior. That's a nice thing with the way we teach everybody and the way we train everybody is you have three different programs and whatever software or different types of equipment that you're using. And we actually have a sheet that breaks it down of exactly what the programs are of a cheat sheet. And we do
Sure.
reward pay, which is a reward pay is the 3% charge on credit. Typically, we'll do like 1.25%, 25 cents on debit, where the uh, merchant pays, and 3%. Then we'll add a little bit more for the customer on that, maybe half a percent more. So that's a 100% compliant surcharge program, which is almost available in 47, 48 states. I know there's a couple states that
Yep.
are not allowing it. And then, of course, you have consumer choice, which has evolved. When I first came in, it was like, to me, it was like, wow, it was very weird in the beginning and I had a little trouble selling it. But once it got out, people
Yeah.
were doing it. I was against it in the beginning. But then as soon as I started writing them, I was like, yeah, this is great. It's a moneymaker. But the problem is Visa has jumped all over that. And now that whole surcharging on credit and debit. So I'm thankful that Payrock has jumped on board beforehand. And we have a compliant surcharge program, cash discount program, I should say, which we use the Clover products with that. And there's
Right.
apps that you can do that with the credit and the cash price. So we teach that. Typically, like when I first came into the business, we did tiered pricing. Now, a
Right. Me
lot of
too.
representatives, yeah, they're like, "What is that?"
Yeah, I know.
So we did qualified, mid qualified, non qualified,
Right.
and honestly, I still do that once in a while, and I find that that's good for someone that has Square because they're on a two-tiered system,
Right.
2.6, 10 cents. They're on a 3.5, 15 cents. So I've been in some businesses and I say, here's the issue with that. When you're using Square, it's simple. It's, everybody signs up with them because they feel that's the easiest one. But we've been converting everybody to this program because the reality in your type of business is you're getting a lot of debit cards. And what we've done with the debit card is we do that at 1.25 or 1.5, however you want to do it. So you got some
Right.
flexibility there. So you can literally knock off, 1.5% off every transaction that you're using. And then if you're getting a credit card, it's 1.75. And then if you're keying them in, it's 2.5 as opposed to 3.5. So when you explain that to a merchant on a tiered level, the numbers don't lie. It shows that they're saving
Right.
money. But I'll do that once in a while. The easiest one is to do cost plus. And what you want to do is find out, because the bottom line is what is the bottom line that they're paying? What's the money that's coming out of their
Right.
account right
Right.
now? Now, if you run across a merchant and they're doing, let's say 20,000 a month, and they're get with this company that's just nailing them and they're paying, 1,200 a month or whatever it might be, right?
Right.
Now, the typical representative is going to say, I'm going to bring it down to 0.10 and 5 cents over cost. It's like, what are you doing? You're,
Right.
you can put them at 0.1% and 10 cents over cost, and they're going to save them a ton of money compared to where they're at.
Right.
So you've got flexibility. You don't want to give the whole store away.
Right.
You want to make money along with it. So it's important to learn as a new representative about how credit card processing works. What does interchange mean? What does assessments mean? If somebody comes to you and you walk into a business and they say, here, James, here's my statement. How much can you save me? It would be nice to be able to look at it and say, oh, yeah, in fact, the majority of the people that I'm helping, they have this program right here. Here's what we're going to do. This is what you're paying. Bang, bang, bang. We're going to knock it off. Here's your processing fees. We're going to lower it here. Bang, bang, bang. See, now you're
Right.
letting the merchant know that, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Right.
And you just assume the sale from that point. So it's important to know those different programs. And again, you're going to keep improving, keep your attitude going, because that's the main thing. Always have a good, positive attitude. Never give up. You're going to improve. The only way you're going to get worse at this if you develop the killer disease of success called negativitis, and you don't want to get that.
I love it. Yeah, it's so interesting. I think too, a lot of the agents, if they'll just latch on to even just one or two kind of common things that they see on statements. I remember when I first started going out, I could identify some things like, regulated debit. I figured out, oh, that was on most statements, said something about that.
Yes,
So I would go, now right here, this is your regulated debit. And I talked about, because that was right after the Durbin Amendment came out, right?
yes,
And so I
yes,
would
yes.
explain what that was. And that was like, and they would be like amazed. That was literally the only thing I understood on the entire statement, but I would say that was my one thing, and then I would send the statement off to get analyzed, right? So I think
Yeah,
for
yeah.
new representatives, just keep learning, and then talk about those things and make sure that you're sharing valuable information. So, Rich, I love this. I always enjoy our conversations. For those who want to reach out to you, learn more about working with you and your team, and see if they're a good fit, where would you send them to learn more?
Absolutely. Just one point on that, because regulated
Yeah.
debit, great point, because you can find some of these statements that will pad the
Oh,
interchange.
absolutely.
I always
Always.
go right to 0.05 and 22 cents. So you got to know what that is. But
Yep.
if you see 0.75
Right.
and 28 cents, now you know that they're paying 0.70 over the cost. So a little
Right.
side note for you. I'm throwing that in
Yes.
at no extra cost. But you can reach me at 904-434-4635. Reach out to me, text me, or you can email me at payrock Rich Norton, PAYROC Rich Norton at gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you.